Hi guys, welcome to Sri Sai Shorthand Coaching Center. 180 words per minute dictation, 5 minutes duration. Get ready, start. Mr. Chairman, I cannot either begin or end my speech by congratulating the Railway Minister on the performance of the railways. I would simply refer to certain questions which require immediate attention. I quite agree with the various honorable members who spoke yesterday and today that there are deficiencies in the working of our railways. Indeed, they are not on a par with the railways in some of the advanced countries of the world. But for a country like ours, where the majority of the people are living in awful economic conditions, whether in towns or villages, I do not think that our railways are so bad. We must take into account the economic conditions obtaining in our country. In my opinion, an economically third class nation cannot expect to have a first class railway system. I have travelled in railways in many other countries and I do not think that our railways are much worse. It is said that there is overcrowding in the railways. It may be largely because railway travel is so cheap when compared to other forms of transport. They are competing with buses. It is probably more comfortable for people to stand in a railway train than rock about in a bus sitting. In fact, in this country, people travel too much for marriages, for pilgrimages, and for other purposes. Had people been traveling mostly for business purposes, there would be need for special facilities being given to them. I do not think there is any necessity for us to encourage travel too much in a country like ours, where people travel too much for fulfilling mere social engagements. This doesn't mean that I am not here to defend the railway ministry at all. What I mean to say is that money is required for more pressing matters, for improving the conditions of the rural areas, and for expanding industries rather than for adding to the amenities on the railways. Sir, many questions have been asked with regard to the frequent accidents that have taken place on our railways. General answers have been given to them, but government will be the first to admit that these accidents are a source of public anxiety. I have tried to find out what the real causes of these accidents are, whether the signaling system is defective or whether there is the failure of the human element, as is often said. But I have been told by railway officials of long experience that in regions where the destiny of traffic had increased, the accidents too had increased. If this explanation is correct, it will cause even greater anxiety to the public than the accidents themselves. It is good that traffic is steadily growing. More and more railways trains pass over every section. I know that this is claimed by the railway administration that during the last 2 or 3 years, the number of accidents has gone down. But what the railway authorities means by an accident is not the same as what is meant by the public by this term. Whenever an engine fails or there is some defect in the signal, the railway authorities say that it is an accident. The public do not think so. If we are to take it for granted that the increase in passenger traffic is bound to lead to more accidents, well, I am sorry to say that so far as the public are concerned, the future is fraught with anxiety. I now come to the question of the railways contribution to the general revenues. It has been pointed out that the general administration is drawing too much from the railway revenues. One honorable member went to the extent of calling it is an exploitation. But I must say, as an economist and as a citizen of this country, that the general administration has a right to get a reasonable dividend out of the huge investment in the railways. We must remember that the railways are getting their capital at a much lower rate of interest. This question was raised long ago. There were 2 points of view in this matter. One was that the railways should be considered as a public utility service and so revenue should be drawn from it. The other was that it should be regarded as a commercial service and it should yield some profit. After careful consideration, it was decided that a dividend should be given to the general revenues. After all, the contribution from the railways to the general revenue is only of the order of 7 crores of rupees. This is a very small amount when compared to the advantages the railways get from the government. In conclusion, I would like to say that the railways represent our largest nationalized undertaking and they should be a model for efficiency. In spite of the efforts made by the railway administration, there is not much improvement in the position. The railways should train their employees and they should be given proper education as to how they should behave with the public. It is said that the public often do not cooperate with the railway staff. I am unable to agree with this view. I assure that the public will always cooperate with the railway staff when they discharge their duties properly.